evening, Butterfly Tribe. I'm back. I'm Daisy, Beauty of Butterflies, to do another video to be more transparent with you guys, to tell you a little more about my life journey, where I come from, and the things that I, endured and went through in my life. My last video, I was telling you guys about the me having my first son, and how the when the molestation started, and yeah. So to go back a little bit, I didn't tell you all the details of it, but I can remember how when it first started off with the the fondling, touching and rubbing, and on my private parts, or coming in my room when I'm asleep, and just fondling me. And it got to the point where they started getting comfortable with doing it, and not and feeling like, okay, she's not gonna tell, because it was pretty much like you putting down the rules and regulations of what not to do before they do something. Pretty much, you better not tell. If you do tell, she ain't gonna believe you. Or I don't remember exactly what they said before they started, but it was pretty much putting down the ground rules of, you better not do this and you better not do that. But when it went from the fondling to, and then they started penetrating me. I can remember times that when I really got fed up and tired, and I used to take a chair in my room with me, and the way my room was set up, when you open the door couldn't open but so wide. And when you open the door, it's like a piece of a wall, like right behind the door. So I would take a chair in my room with me and pin the chair up behind the door. And I don't know how, but some kind of way he would get in the room with that chair behind the door, with this wiggling door, until that chair eventually moved from behind the door. And when he would come in the room, he would start, rubbing on me and feeling on me, and doing all kind of stuff. And then eventually it got where he started penetrating me. And that went on for some years. I think until I had my third child. I had one in 80, and then another one in 82, and then I had another one in 86. And by that time, him and my mom had done, did they move out? No, they didn't move out. And eventually, I told my mom. I got up enough nerves, and I told her. And I felt like she believed me. She believed me when I first told her. And because when I told her, she was like, Desiree, you're not lying, are you? You're not lying, are you? And I was telling her, no, Mom, I'm not lying. This has been going on for a long time. But I was scared to tell her. I was so afraid to tell her. I was scared she was going to blame me for it happening. And then when I did tell her, she immediately went to him, and they broke up for a while. And that was the happiest day of my life, when they broke up and he moved out of the house. Now, that's not all though. Later on, some months down the line, they end up getting back together. And guess what, you guys? She married him. Yep, she married him. So my molester became my stepdad. And that was like devastating to me. I was like, I really can't believe this. My mama really married this man. She married him. So that was the part remember when I told you guys that I went to live with my husband's mom? That's what made me go live with my first husband's mom, because of that situation right there. And then for years on, I eventually had to come to grips that, okay, this is my mom's husband. She done married him, and she not gonna go nowhere. She not gonna leave him. So I eventually, I got my own place, me and my kids, and no, my mom and him bought a house together, and I stayed in the apartment in Harlem Gardens that they moved out of. Me and my kids stayed in there by ourselves. So that was the beginning of my, freedom of not being molested anymore. And years went on, and I swore that when I did have a little girl, when I had Liz in 1994, I did not, when I say did not, let me repeat that, did not let my baby go down there. If she went, I was with her. For the summer breaks, I was with her, because I was not going to let that happen to her, because that situation really had a toll on me, that it messed me up mentally, that I didn't know, what to expect from a male figure. How was I supposed to be treated by a male? But it was like that. That was like a movie that's on repeat, that was in my mind, just playing over and over and over, and trying to figure out, okay, Daisy, where did you go wrong at? What did you do? Did you do something to entice him? Did you do something to, make him want to do this to you? Were you not dressed right? What happened? Why did all that happen to you? And it got to the point that, I mentally started acting kind of weird. I started acting kind of weird, and I got promiscuous, just, from one boy to the next boy, one man to the next man, just, doing crazy stuff that I know I wouldn't normally do. But I was trying to fill a void that I had of not having my dad around to show me how to, what to expect from a man, and what to, for a man, how to know how a man is supposed to treat me. I didn't know that, so I accepted whatever came my way. And then, don't let a man tell me you are so pretty or you are so cute. That was like, blew my head up, because for a long time I felt like I wasn't pretty because of that situation. And I can remember being the neighbors in Harlem Garden gave me the nickname Crazy Daisy. I heard that name so much till I eventually started thinking that maybe there is something wrong with me. Maybe there is something wrong with me, that, because people keep calling me Crazy Daisy. And then it went from Crazy Daisy to Suicide Daisy, because when I couldn't be with my first husband like I wanted to be, that sent me into a state of depression, and I tried to kill myself. I had to go to the hospital to get my stomach pumped out, and that's when the new name came along, Suicide Daisy. Suicide Daisy. That girl crazy. that old Crazy Daisy, Suicide Daisy. Those were the two names that people gave me that stuck with me for the longest. And till eventually I started believing that I was crazy and suicidal. Because when you hear something for so long that you begin to believe it, you really do, because it's like they done sketched it in your brain that something is really wrong with this chick right here. Something is really wrong. This girl is crazy. And that's what I always replayed in my mind, that I am absolutely crazy. Something is wrong with me. I need to get some help. But back in those times, being young and not knowing any better, not knowing, what to do, that, like I said, it was in the 80s. And yeah, you didn't have much resource to the things that you have resource to now. And then after that, I met my second husband, which is Eddie. That's Liz's dad. And I believe God sent Eddie in my life. Eddie was my ticket out of Clewiston. He was my ticket out of Clewiston. So I met him. We were we started dating and everything, and then we got married. That was a disaster. We got married, and he started out being verbally abusive. And mentally abusive. He didn't. The physical abuse didn't come early on. It was just the mental abuse. If I had a choice, and somebody said, "You're gonna get abused, but I'm gonna give you a choice as to which form of abuse that you wanna, endure," and they give me a choice. You want to be physically abused? Do you want to be verbally abused? Or do you want to be mentally abused? You got 3 forms of abuse. Pick one. Knowing what I know now, I'll pick physical abuse. I really would. I wouldn't want to pick neither one of them. But if I had to, and they told me, if you didn't pick one, we're going to pick one for you, I would tell them physical abuse. Go ahead on and beat my behind. Because guess what? Them scars gonna heal up. But that verbal abuse and that mental abuse, that stuff right there stick with you forever. Until Jesus come and give you some peace. And that's what my second husband was to me. Verbal, mental, and then at the end, it became physical. Well, I take that back. It tried to become physical. It tried to. But my boy stopped it. But like I said, Eddie was my ticket out of Clewiston, because my thought always have been, I am going to get out of Clewiston. I don't know how, but I'm going to get out of Clewiston. That was my ultimate goal, was to get out of Clewiston. And when Eddie came along, that was my ticket right there, to get out of Clewiston, because we got married. He stayed in the apartment in Holland Garden with me. It started out real good. It really did. It started out real good. Then eventually he said, I don't want to be here no more. I want to go. We're going to move to Orlando. I said, okay. So he came down here first, and he, found us a place to stay here in Orlando. And then me and my kids eventually came along with him. Came along after he got here and got a job and found a place to stay and everything. And then he sent for us, and we came on here. And he found us a house off of Breezewood. Is it Breezewood? We had a couple places, stayed in a couple of places when we first got him, because there was no stability, none. We just kept moving and moving and moving and moving. But like I said, he was my ticket from Clewiston to Orlando. And when I got to Orlando, I can say life was pretty good from where I used to be. It was pretty good to me. For one, I wasn't in Clewiston anymore because I didn't want to be there anymore. And once I left, guess what? I did not go back at all. Because that was my plan, not to go back. Because I knew my time was up there in Clewiston. So me and Eddie came here, got a place to stay, and we just went on from there. And then eventually and also my I always had a desire. I said I want to get into church and start living my life right. So once I moved here and I got settled in, got to know people and started going to church and eventually gave my life to Christ. And then me thinking that okay, it's about to be gravy, now it's gonna be good because I'm giving my life to Christ and start living my life right, going to church and doing the right thing. And life is about to be looking through a glass of roses. Rose glass, how they say it? Rose glass of roses, something like that. But life is about to be good for me. Little did I know. Salvation is free, but it ain't free to keep it. You got to work and fight to keep your salvation. And that's exactly what I had to do. But the good thing is, I had a lot of people on my side to show me how to walk the walk of Christ, walk the the straight and narrow road, as they can say, straight and narrow. But it was like I started my life over. That's the way I felt, that I was getting a new start at life. That phase of, okay, I'm about to start life over. A do-over, as they can say, do-over. That's what I felt like I had gotten when I came here, a do-over. But with everything that I had gone through from Clewiston, me thinking, okay, I'm good, not knowing, I brought that baggage right on along with me. The low self-esteem, I brought it with me. The depression, I brought it with me. The suicidal thoughts, I brought it with me. I brought all those flaws with me. But me thinking, I got married, I was happy, things was going good for me. I thought, okay, you good. You are good. But little did I know, once I gave my life to Christ, that's when the enemy said, okay, we finna turn up the fire a little bit on them. We gonna turn it up. Cause we ain't gonna let her get away just like that. But that's when all hell broke loose. That's when the real fight began, when I gave my life to Christ. And but me thinking once I gave my life to Christ that my husband was gonna do the same thing. But it didn't happen that way. It did not happen that way. He did not. He eventually started going to church and playing the role, as you would say. Yeah, playing the role of, being saved and in the church and doing this and doing that. But the real person eventually came out and just showed it behind. I don't know, but my life has just been a big roller coaster and a lot of, ups and downs and turnarounds and wishy-washy. My life's just been real. I don't know. I don't even know a word to put to it. What my life has been. It's just been a rocky road. a real rocky, bumpy, shaky road. But the good thing is I endured it all. And I am here in my right mind, sane and stable. Because Satan's ultimate goal was to have me locked up somewhere in a mental institution. I can't admit there are some times that I felt like that's where I needed to be at. With a straitjacket on somewhere. But God didn't see it that way. That wasn't the plan of God. Now, mind you, everything that I went through was not a coincidence, and it was not a surprise to God. I wouldn't say that it was the plan of God, but I will say God allowed it to happen for me to know who I am, whose I am, and what am I, what I am, and what I possess on the inside of me. Because everything that I went through in my past has gotten me to where I am now. And one thing that I do know about me, if I don't know anything else, I do know that I am more than a conqueror. And I do know that I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor of attempts of suicide. I'm a survivor of almost about to lose my mind, of a nervous breakdown. I'm a survivor of low self-esteem. I'm a survivor of no self-worth at all, none, zero, zilch. I'm a survivor of being being a follower and not a leader. I'm a survivor of having my own mind, being able to think for myself and not allowing people to dictate to me, and not allowing people to have say-so over my life. The approval of people. Didn't know how to make my own decisions. Always had to rely on somebody else to make decisions for me. To coerce me into doing things, to, gas me on of doing stupid stuff. But I just thank God that God has brought me. I know that God has brought me from a mighty, mighty long ways. And I know you all hear that a lot of times, but for me, God done brought me up from a long ways from what I used to be. Because like I said, remember when I said, my nickname used to be Crazy Daisy, Suicide Daisy. Because those were my constant thoughts. I used to have constant thoughts of suicide. Because I did not want to go through life the way I was going through life. Things that was happening in my life. I didn't want to endure that anymore. I was tired of just being beat on and abused mentally, verbally, just downtrodden all the time. And just being, used and just pushed to the side all the time. I had got sick of that. That's why I wanted to end my own life. Thinking that was going to end my problems. But I thank God that He spared my life. Yes, I have taken pills a couple times to take my life, but guess what? God didn't allow it to be so. Went right on to the hospital, got my stomach pumped out, and got revived. Because God said, not so. It's not over until He says it's over. That's the easy way out, Daisy. That would have been the easy way out. But God didn't allow me to take the easy way out. He wanted me to go through everything that I went through to get me to where I am now. And now I know who I am. I am somebody. I am the apple of God's eye. I am anointed and appointed and predestined for the time that I am in right now. Because God knew the plans that He had for my life. And I am walking this plan out. Yes, I have stumbled, I have failed, and I have slowed down. But guess what? I'm still moving. I'm still thriving. As long as I keep moving, God gonna keep moving. So like I said, I thank God for everything that I have endured in my life. Every single thing that I have gone through, I thank God. I really do. I thank God. Because it was God that brought me from where I used to be to where I am right now. Anointed and powerful woman of God. Can pray heaven down on earth. I believe that. Most definitely, I believe that. But yes, I want to thank you all for watching my video, listening to me babble and go on, and trying to put the pieces of my life together, trying to remember, the pieces of my life, the parts that I can remember. I'm going to continue to tell you guys my story, and believe it or not, the more I tell you guys my story, I'm beginning to feel the release of me telling you guys my story. I'm feeling the freedom. I'm feeling the weight being lifted off of me, of holding it in for all these years and not wanting to share. And my main reason for me not wanting to share is because I was embarrassed. I was truly embarrassed about the things that I went through in life, especially when I was getting molested. That was an embarrassing time for me, difficult time for me. But I endured it, and God brought me out. And I'm here telling my story. Finally telling my story. I've always wanted to tell it, but I just got the nerves to do it. And like I always say in my videos at the end, I know it sounds like it's being pieced together, because it is. It's pieced together for me. And I believe the more I tell my story, the more it's gonna, come together and sound better, if I would say, or should I say sound better? But like I say, I'm gonna keep telling it, the parts that I know, the parts that I remember, and whatever comes up after that. But until the next time, I want to say good night and thank you all for watching my video. And please like, share, comment, and subscribe to my channel, Beauty of Butterflies, because I am truly evolving into who God wants me to be and who God has predestined me to be. So, and I believe doing this is going to open me up more to know how to talk and know how to speak and just know how to get my story out in a better way, not being nervous and fidgety. But I'm here. And thank you all again. I love you. Good night, Butterfly Tribe.